Yo, what is going on, guys? It's Jack, and welcome back to another video, and happy Tuesday to everybody. I mean, it's only one more day, and then we're at hump day, and as time goes by, we get closer and closer to Friday, which gets us to the weekend, so I hope you guys are having a wonderful and safe week so far. Hopefully it's not getting too crazy for you. But we're going to get into the nitty-gritty because we have actually mainly two subjects to talk about today. A multitude of subjects, but mainly two. So apparently, I was kind of suspicious about this, but apparently, I don't know if it's because of a contract or whatever the hell it is, but apparently, if you are a professional Call of Duty player, and I don't know if this applies to other games beyond Call of Duty, but I guess if you're a professional Call of Duty player, regardless of your status, regardless of how good you are, regardless of how successful you are and how big your name is, I guess if you talk shit about the current iteration, whether you're honest or not, doesn't matter apparently, but if you talk shit about the game, your ass gets fined. Scump, in case you guys didn't know, Scump basically got fined. He was asked questions about Modern Warfare and stuff like that and what he thought, and he basically responded as of recently in I guess one of his recent streams, I don't want to get fined again. That's what his response was. I don't want to get fined again. So that just says right there that he basically got fined for basically, I don't know how long ago it was, maybe a month ago, give or take, to where Hex, and Hex, and Hitch, as well as Embos, and Big Timer was there as well, were basically breaking down the Call of Duties, and they made a video on it. And when they got to Modern Warfare, Scump just honestly and basically just tore the game apart, rightfully so, that it's basically a piece of trash, and how Warzone pretty much saved it, and how if it wasn't for Warzone, I mean, the game would just be like the biggest disappointment ever. And from a multiplayer perspective, it is a disappointment ever from both a pub standpoint and a competitive standpoint. And when you got one of the best players in the world, like Scump, and we all know how good he is, right, in both pubs and competitive, if you got him stating, one of the reasons, I mean, he stated a multitude of reasons, but he stated how he can't stand the skill-based matchmaking. He couldn't even play 6v6 pubs because he loves pubs. He's not one of those players that just strictly plays competitive or whatnot. He likes to play pubs as well. So perhaps that could be the reason why he is the player that he is today as well. I personally think that playing pubs is very viable, that really can exercise those muscles that competitive does not. That's just my humble opinion, and that has nothing to do with me not being a Call of Duty player. That's just my common sense way of thinking. So, I mean, pubs basically fill in the gaps where competitive play does not. So, the thing is, when you got the best player in the world and a professional Call of Duty player that has been very successful throughout the years and is constantly in people's, top 3 of all time or top 3 best players in the game, saying that your game is terrible, I guess they're going to fine your ass for it. And it's got to be under contract, right? I mean, there's no way in hell they can even dig deep into your pockets and fine you unless you're under some sort of contract. That's the way it works with sports. And I'm assuming that's what's going on, and that's what's the case is here, especially since everything has been pretty much made to be very similar. Like, basically Call of Duty has been franchised now. And since that has been a thing, I mean, the players are under contract to get paid a certain amount for their time and their years or whatnot, very similar in a way to the way athletes are paid in sports. So I guess when it comes to that, I guess, I don't know if it's Activision or Infinity Ward, or some people are even saying that maybe Hex fined him as well, basically the way he used to fine when they had the Optic House. Like if they didn't take care of their trash or do their part of the chores that they're supposed to take care of the house and stuff like that, they'd get fined like $200 or some shit. I don't know. I seriously doubt Hex fined him for saying that. But it really does sound like an Infinity Ward or Activision thing. As a matter of fact, I won't even say Infinity Ward. I'll say Activision. I mean, imagine one of the devs. Imagine what would happen to one of the devs if they were talking shit about their own game, or if they were, because it all makes sense in the world. I mean, Condry, we had no idea that Activision themselves was implementing the skill-based matchmaking through their end until Condry actually said something, which so happened to be after he didn't work for Activision anymore, and he wasn't a part of their brand anymore. So it really, I really, when people move on from Activision, I kind of get curious and kind of look forward to things that may or may not come to be, especially after I think about them, especially after it's happened. I mean, let's put it this way. I mean, ever since, when Condry tweeted that out, how all the microtransactions and shit like that were basically all under Activision with the skill-based matchmaking and everything like that. Since that is in their control, you know, ever since then, it's like, okay, one of the first things I did was I made a video apologizing to Vaughn, you know, and how he was always being honest and saying, hey, you know, he was always saying, I just make the shoes. I'm not in charge of the business aspect. I mean, he couldn't even give Blackout the name that he wanted to, and it was his baby. And I think he wanted, rumors have been saying that he wanted to call that Warzone. And I don't know what the hell this would have been called, but I don't know. But, or Modern Warzone or something. I don't know. But it just goes to show you, man, how much little in control even the devs are when it comes to shit compared to Activision, who is the boss. So even they're the ones that are deep in there, man, creating the game. They know what's going on, the ins and outs and shit like that. They probably have a shit ton of stress from all this. And of course, now that the pros are signing contracts, which I'm assuming, you know, the ones that pay out those contracts are obviously Activision. This is what I'm assuming, right? Or if Activision's not paying it out, they're somehow bound to that contract to where, hey, they have the right to basically fine your ass if you step out of line in any way, shape, or form by their details. In other words, like Scump talking trash about Modern Warfare. It's like no wonder most of the pros are keeping silent about it. I think Krim got fined earlier this year too when he was, I don't know. First he was like late to the whole conference thing, and then after that he cursed or some shit like that. Was talking shit about the game. I think he got fined too. I'm not sure. I guess it's something that you guys could tell me more about. But wow, it really is that interesting. I mean, it's to a point to where you can't even speak your mind about something anymore when it comes to that. But I guess in athletics terms, it's always been that way. Like, you know, talking shit about like for those of you guys that have seen the Chicago Bulls documentary recently that came out, The Last Dance, they basically, like, there's so many details that we didn't know about the 1998 Chicago Bulls and everything that was going on until that documentary was a thing. Like, during the time, we didn't know that Scottie Pippen was probably the most underpaid player on the team, or one of the most underpaid player on the team, and yet is one of the most valuable players on the team. We didn't know exactly what happened when, like, we didn't know that Dennis Rodman went on vacation to Vegas in the middle of the playoffs. And I mean, there's so much we don't know. We know he did the wrestling thing, but it's like, wow, that's freaking crazy, man. We didn't know that Michael Jordan's flu game was actually a food poisoning game. We didn't know that probably the biggest reason why the Chicago Bulls broke up after 1998 was mainly because of Jerry Krause. I mean, it just goes to show you, man. I mean, it's fucking crazy. Even though they got offered a chance to come back, they all said no. So I guess it's not all on Jerry Krause, but I guess Jerry Krause started that whole thing and shit. So, and it's like, come on, man. It's like, give some of these players what they're worth. Give the players the credit because they're the ones that make the difference for your organization and shit like that. I mean, I don't want to make this about that, but anyway, just wanted to talk about that briefly because it kind of relates. But the thing is that I wanted to talk about one more thing before I end this commentary today. And that is that a lot of people are basically saying, hey, I don't mind Call of Duty 2020 getting delayed until 2021. Just give us Modern Warfare Remastered until then. And all I have to say about that is, first of all, I understand and I respect your opinion. And I know that Modern Warfare 2 is nostalgic. I know Modern Warfare 2 and a lot of people was a legendary game or whatnot. But at the same time, in the year 2020, a Modern Warfare 2 Remastered multiplayer would be a motherfucking mess unless it was released fixed. If you're going to release it in the state that it was in terms of what you can do and what you can't do, then it is going to be a hot mess. Everybody's going to be using noob tubes. It's going to be worse than ever. The only thing that it's not going to be is it's not going to be as hacked or not hacked at all, at least not for a while, you know, because new games that come out are given all the attention and all the old games are basically put through the shitter. So if it's going to be released in the exact same state, then it's going to be a hot mess in the year 2020, man. Those maps, at least the majority of those maps or a certain portion of those maps, would not flow very well in today's Call of Duty, okay? They're a lot more campy. Again, I don't think they're as campy as Modern Warfare 2019, but the maps and how easy it actually is to get a nuke, because all you need really is your Harrier and then your Chopper Gunner or AC-130, and then once you get enough kills with those streaks, they add up towards 25 and you can get yourself a nuke, you know? And of course, it's so easy. I mean, it's it's so easy, therefore not as satisfying and kind of cheap or whatnot. And back then, those streaks were really were really, really powerful as well. So, and then of course you have the Spaz 12, and among other things like shotguns. We know, thanks to Modern Warfare 2019, we know how annoying shotguns can be, right? So, especially if you play on smaller maps. So the thing is, like, you guys remember the Spaz 12? For those of you guys that remember Modern Warfare 2, you guys remember how fucking strong the Spaz 12 was? Or the Model 1887s? Or, I mean, think about it. I mean, those guns were strong. They were stupid broken. Now, granted, everything was broken. Everything was super strong. But with the amount of distance and range that the Spaz 12 had, for instance, was just stupid. It was just an easy one-shot, one-hit kill from a decent range, which would be submachine gun range. Not optimal submachine gun range, but we're talking like at least 15 feet or something like that. One shot to the chest, you're dead. So when you put things like that, like, it would be just overkill, really. I mean, some people prefer that. Some people prefer the Philly cheesesteak that's got like very little bread, but just a ton of meat and a ton of cheese to the point to where it's overflowing and stuff like that, and unbalanced. I mean, I understand that people prefer that. And some people see Call of Duty as basically an unbalanced game that has been kind of going in every single direction for like the last 5 to 7 years. But the thing is, in the year 2020, man, when you think about how campy those maps are and how easy you can get a nuke, and the noob tubes, the one-man army noob tubes, how crazy that is. Commando Pro. Do I need to say more? So, I mean, there's going to be a lot of annoying shit. And one thing that the majority of the Call of Duty community does not like, or seems to not like, is just like way too many annoying things, man. But on the other hand, if they do release the game to where it was like if it was quote unquote patched, and if we got the Modern Warfare that we were supposed to get, like before Zampella and West left, like let's say all that falling out didn't happen and Zampella and West didn't leave, we would have gotten a patched Modern Warfare 2, and it would have been an even more legendary game than we already regard it as. So the thing is that if it gets released in that aspect to where it's patched and a little bit more balanced and stuff like that, okay, maybe you might have an argument there. Now, granted, the maps themselves are not all, you know, again, it's not all the same. People don't play the same anymore, man. Do you need any more proof than Modern Warfare Remastered, the original Modern Warfare Remastered? That game isn't played like back how COD 4 was. More people are camping than ever with their M16s or their sniper rifles or whatever. It's not as easy to rush in that game anymore. Don't let gameplays that you see other people post fool you. And let's not mention that a vast majority of gameplays that I've seen is you're not seeing people rush around with the SMGs in that game anymore. You're basically just watching people just head glitch and kill people with their M16. But anyway, guys, that's all I got for this one. I just wanted to state my opinions and my thoughts about Scump getting fired and kind of stuff like that. Let me know down in the comment section what you guys think. What do you think about Modern Warfare 2 Remastered? Do you want COD 2020 to get delayed? Let me know. And that's it. That's all I got for this one, guys. This is Jack, signing off.